I will share a story with you. I can go back in my history and I can remember there were certain transitional points in my development. And these transitional points actually occurred before I began to see results. Results in the physical realm don't really get revealed until the change has been made quite some time ago. I think I made a post about this earlier in the week or maybe last week sometime. You know, change happens internally first. And this is why some of you can feel like, I know I'm getting better, but I don't see any evidence in the real world of that feeling. I know I'm smarter, but I don't have proof that I'm smarter. I know that I'm deepening and being enriched as a trader, but my account does not demonstrate that. That change, that gap between what you feel, what you know, is normal because change actually takes place on a realm that's not physical long before it actually pushes itself out into the physical realm. And so when you see something physically, all right, when you see something physically, when there's manifestation of something, you that happened a while ago. You might see it for the first time. In your trading, you might start to see a heightened level of consistency, a heightened level of professionalism all of a sudden. But that heightened level of consistency and professionalism happened a while ago. So these times don't line up. And I can go back into my past, right? And I remember certain major points when I knew internally that I've made a switch here. All right. And one of the things that led to this internal mindset change, one of the things that did that was when I accepted the fact that there's no end to this. Now, hear me out for a second. I think this is important. This is not my plan to go into this, but I think it's important. There's always a psychological element to trading, and it's important sometimes that we speak about this, right? In fact, most of it's psychological in nature. But anyway, what I will say is when I accepted the fact that this was an activity that had no end, that I'm going to trade for the rest of my life because I love it so, that this is not something like a project. This is not something that I'm going to drop one day. And I made up my mind that I don't care if I never get it. It fills my soul with something, and I just want to do it. There are plenty of people in life who do things that they're just horrible at, but they still love it, like golfers. I always use that analogy, that example. There are some horrible golfers in this world, but there they are every weekend ripping up the course with their buddies, you know? So I made up my mind at this point. I was frustrated. I made up my mind. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. There's no destination point. I'm going to do this as frequently as I can. And I hope that the day I leave this earth, I hope that I would have placed a trade. And when I took that attitude, that long term, low time preference attitude, and I removed these objectives for me, that caused this very, very substantial shift internally. It took an enormous amount of pressure off of me. I didn't realize that I was living every day with this hidden pressure to achieve something by some specific point or day. And it was invisible to me until I adopted that view. I don't care if I never get it. And I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And boom, it was like a weight lifted off of my whole being. And it was a very substantial change that not right away, but I began to see in short order that change seep into my trading, my mental attitude, my confidence, my certainty, because what it did was this. It made me reduce the importance of a single trade. Did you hear this? I'm going to say it again. What this did, if I had to choose one thing that it accomplished, the most important thing that it accomplished, is that it took the importance of a single trade away from me. So what I did not realize before this was that I was approaching every trade like it was life or death. Like, this has gotta be a winning trade. And it was a very, unbeknownst to me, it was a very stressful way to trade. It's, the extra pressure, it's already difficult enough in a way. It's simple, but it's not easy. So it's already difficult enough in a way without this added pressure that I need this one to be a winning trade. And so because it put in perspective the fact that this is just one trade in an entire lifetime of trades, what's the real significance of this single one? It's not that much. Even if it's a winning trade, the importance is just really not that grand in the grand scheme of things over an entire lifetime. So it made me feel more, for the first time, it made me feel more powerful than the trade itself. And I didn't realize it's very subtle. And I know some of you are experiencing this. You feel less powerful than the trade itself. And that is a danger. You feel as though, man, I hope this one doesn't destroy me. I hope this one is a winning trade. I hope this one is not another loss. And that's feeling smaller than the trade, as if the trade has a power to do something to you, and it doesn't. You only have that power. The trade doesn't have any power. You can mess it up. You can do the right thing. You can make an error. You can enter too early. You can exit too late. You can fail to take your stop. You can make the wrong stop adjustment. You can take your profit too early, but the stock can't do anything to you. The trade can't do anything to you. So there should be no need for hoping. There should be like, I'm going to do this. And that mental shift of flipping the trade from being more important to you being more important, and that this trade is insignificant in the grand scheme of trades, like, why is it even important? It created this easy, more relaxed approach to things. And I can't say that it made any difference right away, but it wasn't too long before I began to see that seep into the quality of all of my trades. Does this make sense? Am I blabbing too much here? I don't want to do that, and didn't have plans for this, but just talking about my trading birthday sort of makes me reminiscent about these points, along the journey. And I'm very happy and honored to be here. I'm flabbergasted by your generosity. It's, I still sometimes really truly have to pinch myself that people want to listen to me. Like, my family keeps me very humble. You have to understand this because you guys make me feel like a king. And I that gets shuts off when when I'm not live with you anymore. That gets shuts off, and maybe the first thing I'll hear after I get pumped up and feel like this king, I close down the live or whatever, and I say, take out the garbage. I'd be like, I went from a king to taking out the garbage. What is this? It's a big contrast. It's like I tell you a story and you guys are like on pins and needles with the story. And I tell this story and it's, Dad, we heard that like 100 times, please. So I get these level contrast, guys, these contrasts and levels, and it keeps me humble. You know, it keeps me humble. So